Hello and welcome back to High Frontier for All, game number 4, part 3. This is the Race for Glory in Pursuit of Happiness version of the game, and we are in Sunspot Cycle number 3 in year 25. So that's where we stand right now. I'll go ahead and turn this ticker off. I keep on forgetting to do that, but this time I'll remember, and we are in 25. Now, what I'm going to do real quick, though, is just get in a little bit closer so you can see a little bit better. That's probably about as close as I want to get, because I want you to see everything on the screen. You can refer to, say, a photo or something like that of the board if you want to get really into detail. But I'm explaining what's on those pieces while this video is going on, so should know kind of where we stand. We have, just to recap, we have a D factory here on Deimos. That same player just landed on Phobos last turn, and they prospected the site successfully. We also have a factory here on Vesta, a V factory, and we have an outpost there which has the refinery that was ET produced on that outpost. So, and then they have the rocket here at LEO, which is which has a crew, a robonaut, and a thruster, and they want to get back to Vesta. So what they're going to do is they're going to take their thruster. This is year 25. So they're going to take their thruster, which is a 5-1 thruster, which means it has five thrust. And we're going to do the adjustment here because it's now at a scout level, which is a +0. So it's at a 5 thrust. And it's going to get over to Deimos to refill at that factory. And since this is a cooperative game, they're going to be able to do a site refuel there and get 7 aqua. So that's really nice as well. All right, so they're going to go ahead and do their burns. 1 to Cycler, 1 over here to Geo, and they're going to wait right here at the home and crossing. So 2 burns, 1, 2, and they're going to be right there, and they're going to wait until the next turn. Now, they can do an operation. They can take 1 aqua. They can auction a card, which is really just basically taking a card since it's co-op. They can boost. There's nothing to boost. They can do a site refuel. They're not on a site. They can do a prospect. They're not on a site. They can do industrialization. They're not on a site. They can do EG produce. They have no cards. So if there was a D card here, they could take a D card and even do an ET produce on that D factory, because it's co-op. But since they don't have a D card, it's not really going to do them any good. So this Robonaut actually is not too bad. It's got a 1 ray gun. And if we ET produce it on an S site, which I think this is a C site. Yeah, that's a C site. If we ET produces on an S site, it actually becomes a dirt thruster, and down from 5 mass down to 3, but with a missile. So not so great. So just going to go ahead and just take this card to try to sell it in some other round for some aqua. Okay. Which opened up a V Robonaut, and that's a V factory. So we'll see if we want to do that. But we're probably going to. We have a V B thruster here that we could decommission later on, and then basically turning it into this. And this is even better. It takes it down from a 5 mass down to 3, and a 5 with a 1/2 of a burn per 1/2 stop per burn. That's really good. So yeah, we may want to do that. All right, on to the B612 Foundation Company. We're on that site, so we're just going to go ahead and we're going to build a factory. It's called an what is it called? Industrialized operation. It says decommission Robonaut and refinery to place factory. So we're going to decommission our refinery, and we're going to decommission our Robonaut. And you cannot have a black patent in your hand. So when we decommission this, it actually turns into back over to this side. So we have to ET produce it again if we want to use its power here to have a -1. So, but that's okay. We went ahead and we actually did use this, and we had to last turn because we rolled a 4 first, then we rolled this 1 here, so we were able to prospect that site. You said, "Oh, how were you able to roll 2 times?" Well, the crew's faction privileges allows it to roll twice if you have a ray gun. So there you go. All right, so we're going to decommission both these cards back to our hand, and the nice thing is we get to build a C factory there. So now we have a C factory sitting on that site. The one thing that I haven't done is actually move these to 8 points for the C, 8 points for the B, and 8 points for the D. So we have all 3 of those factories already built, which is great. And the nice thing is we can move. We have enough fuel. We actually can move. We don't need to do a site refill there and wait a turn. And that's not really the best place to go to refuel anyway. Deimos is actually probably a bit better. So yeah, I say we move and we go. We really need to get our Robonaut back, and we can also ET produce that refinery next turn if we want, and it will basically be back there on that factory, and we're going to need to get a Robonaut. We could ET produce this Robonaut actually next turn, and make it a 0. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So we're not going to move. We're just going to hang out there, and we're going to ET produce that next time and get that basically come to onto our rocket stack, because we can co-locate those cards using the cargo transfers cards between co-located stacks. So basically be on an outpost, and then it's co-located there. So we would just be able to move that there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to ET produce that card next time. All right. So you're number 26, and this player that's in white color is ISRO Glab Cosmonauts. We're going to go ahead and, without any burns, just go right on to Deimos. And we have an S, so we're not going to be able to ET produce this. But what we can do though is we can do a site refuel at that factory, and we can get 7 more aqua, which we're going to do, and we're going to put directly into this right here. So we're going to move right up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And did I adjust for the mass for that Robonaut? No, I did not. Interesting. Okay, well, nonetheless, I've got 5, 8, 9 mass. So we'll move this thing up 3, 1, 2, 3, and we'll move our wet one up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then now we're a tug, so we're at 5 minus 2, and that's 3. But we didn't take any burns here anyway, so really didn't matter. Now we've got our wet mass and our dry mass good to go. In order to get back to Vesta, if I recall, when we come off here, we go to the Holman crossing and then we wait, and then we go to Lagrange, and then we have 1 burn flyby free, and then we wait there. So it's only 1 burn to get there. That's 1. And then we have another burn and then a half a burn. We have to wait actually 1 turn at the burn and then switch thrusters. So we go 1 burn there, then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that basically gets us onto that, back onto that site. So that's really good. We've got our site refuel. That was our operation. We did a move. We're done with that player. The next player, they are going to, they want to get back. No, we want to ET produce, right? We want to ET produce this Robonaut at the C factory. So we're going to basically put this 0 ISRU 0 ray gun, and we're going to stick it on our rocket. Now that's going to increase our mass. So we were at a mass 3, now we're at a mass 6. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. So we're at a transport. So we're still at a thrust 2 because we have this thruster here for 3, and we're subtracting 1 to make it 2. We did our ET produce, and now we're going to move, and we're going to move on over to the D site so that we can ET produce this one and grab that one. So we have 1 burn here, and then onto Deimos. So 1 burn is worth 2, 1, 2, and now we're on Deimos. And actually now at this point, we could actually swap cards and do all kinds of things, but we don't have any aqua to trade. We don't really want to trade these cards or give cards because this person's got their refinery, they got theirs. This is for ray gun rolls. Now they've got a 0 ray gun, so they've got their faction privilege, which gives them a 1 reroll when using a ray gun. So yeah, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to say hello to each other, and that's good. All right. So we're going to go to year number 26, and we could do another another factory refill, but we're not going to. So we're going to come off this Lagrange, and we're going to go down to the Holman, and that's no burns, and we're just going to wait right there. As for the operation, we are going to go ahead and sell this Robonaut here for 3 aqua. Okay. Nice. All right. Now we go back over to the B612 Corp, and they are going to ET produce this refinery, which drops it down from 4 mass down to 3 mass, and it gives a -1 to co-located ray gun size rolls. We did that before, and that worked out nicely for us. So we're going to go ahead and put this here, and then we're going to adjust our mass. So we have a 1, a 3, a 2, and a 3. So that's 9. So we're going to bring this thing up by 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And if we move, we're going to take 1 burn. Then we're going to do, okay, wait a minute. I'm over here, and what I really want to do at this point is get somewhere so that I can get a third factory, really, for them. They need to get a third factory. It doesn't really matter which, as long as it's a S or an M or an H. And considering they're the ones who are going to be able to prospect the easiest, we probably should go for one of the hardest things to prospect. So considering the other one is going to be able to scoop and get be able to prospect more sites out there, because the Robonaut here is a 2. If they get to that factory, they could ET produce it and get it down to a 1 with 0 mass. It's a buggy, but I don't think so. I think that we want to get to a place where something, I don't know if M is harder or if H is harder. So I'm going to take a look and see. Here's a 4M here, which is pretty nice. It's got 1 hydration, and that's no problem because we've got a 0. So basically we only need to roll a 5 or a less, and we've got 2 rolls at it in order to get a factory over there on the M site. That seems like a pretty good deal. They also could go out this way, or they could go this way. Is there anything good along this path? Range. There are some S sites, but I'm going to be coming out to Vesta here and right here. And there's a V, V, C, and S. And I really want to get that S right there. Let me take a look and see if I can, though. Well, that's a 1 hydration. The scoop is going to be able to bring it up to a 3. So yes, I have an ISRU 2 Robonaut, so I will be able to do that. And all I got to do is roll a 4 or less, and I should be able to do that. So, and hopefully I don't bust that site. So they're probably going to get the S, which means they have a V. They're going to have an S, so they're going to need to get 1 more, either an M or an H. So there's a 5M that's sitting right up there. That one's probably pretty good. Yeah. So I guess this one really needs to go for an H site. So where are some H's? Well, there's an H here on Mars, but don't really want to go there. Don't really have enough thrust to do that very well. I'm looking for more H sites, and I'm seeing 1 here. This is crazy. Don't really want to go there. Now I'm looking out into the Ceres zone, and there are no H's. No H's. There are no H's there. There are absolutely none. Okay, so out in the Jupiter zone, there's nothing. There's nothing, nothing, nothing. There's one here. But look at all that. There's no way. That's not a possibility. Wow. No, that's not good. So it's either, I'm sorry, not Mars, but the moon. Could go to the moon for that H site. And then there was what? Was there one other that we saw? Was there another one, or was that it? Was there only one H site? Wow. That's quite limiting, isn't it? To get that factory, it's got to be on the moon. Oh, there's one here that's just crazy, but maybe that's better. Maybe that's better. It's hard to know if that is better or not than the moon, because the moon's going to take me to use the crew to get off there. Could actually do something that's called a factory assist takeoff, and a factory assist liftoff. If a site has a factory, a spacecraft with an activated operational thruster may enter or exit that site without needing a thrust greater than the site size. So the crash hazard, if the space first moved into with a factory assist liftoff is a hazard, ignore the hazard. Using factory assist incurs a hazard roll unless it is colonized or you have a power sat. A spacecraft may not use factory assist to move into or out of a lander burn space, with the exception of acetylene rocket planes. Well, that's interesting, because coming off the moon, that exactly what would happen. It would go onto a lander site. So you cannot use a factory assist off the moon, but you can use acetylene rocket plane liftoff. A spacecraft may use factory assist to exit, but not enter an atmospheric site to allow movement into a lander burn. Well, there's no atmosphere there on the moon. By expending a special water cost of using fuel tanks. So I can't do that either. So it doesn't appear as though I can't do a factory assist off the moon, because I'm going on to a lander site. And it says clearly, a spacecraft may not use factory assist to move in or out of a lander burn space. So I can't move into it. So that's a no-go. I'd have to use the crew. And that expends 10 fuel. So not sure I want to do that. I mean, it is an ISRU value of 0, and there is no water there, so I could. It's an automatic prospect. It's an automatic claim, and then I could decommission the Robonaut and the refinery in order to do that. But it seems like kind of a waste, because I have this nice ray gun that I can use to prospect and maybe help out that other player to do that. So maybe I had to go out to Vesta and prospect all those sites for them once they get there, and basically give me their refinery. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to both head on out that way, and why not, right? So let's move. We did the ET produce, and let's move. We're going to go one burn here. No, we're going to go this way and go one burn there. And then we're going to wait at the home in here. We don't want to spend any more fuel. So that's one burn. Brings us down here. We can't do it anyway because we only have a thrust of 2. So we couldn't even spend 2 more burns to do that because we only have thrust of 2. So we're going to wait there. All right, that's it. And then so year number, what is this, 28? Yep, year 28. And this player is going to now move off the Homan. And they're going to go for it was this Homan here. And they're going to go to Lagrange. And then they're going to hit this burn here. Flyby. And the bonus burn. And they're going to weigh at the Homan as well. So one burn takes it down to a transport. So we're going to adjust the thrust back up to 4, 5 minus 1. For their operation, they are going to get a card, and this Robonaut here could be ET produced to be a 3-ray gun with a 5-1 solar. That might be a better thruster than what these guys have as their thruster. That might not be a bad card just to ET produce and to give to them. Probably also going to build a seaside out there. And this thruster could be ET produced into a 2 1/3. That's an interesting thought. But I think I like this one better. I like this thruster better. And we're gonna have to go on the Vesta anyway in order to pick up this refinery. So why not? We'll just pick up this card. Okay. Now on to what were they called? The Beat 612 Foundation, right? These guys are the Glav cosmonauts. Okay. They're going to take a burn for 2 steps. And they're going to burn their way right onto past this burn and onto this space right there. And from there, they have a zero Robonaut, a 0 ISRU Robonaut co-located with a -1 roll, co-located with the crew that gives a 1 reroll. So they could do a prospect right now on all these sites. They don't even need the scoop. This one's at the Homan right there. They don't even need a scoop. So let's do that. So the reroll, let's see what the reroll says. If it's 1 per turn, 1 reroll per prospecting operation. Okay. So this is a prospecting operation. So I only have 1 reroll. And what I really want to make sure to use it for is for that 4S site, because we've got to get that 4S. We already have a V and we already have a C. We need the S. So if I fail on that and I get a -1, so if I get a 6, for example, I'm going to definitely reroll there. So let's start at that. The 4S, all I want is anything but a 6. That would be a 1. That's a success. And that's a claim. And I believe that I can give the other person that claim site through a negotiation. Let's see. Negotiated transfer of stacks and figures. If a stack, claim, factory, or colony changes ownership, one player removes its figure and the other. If you trade stack cards, blah, 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 you're allowed to create an outpost or stack to accommodate them. Yeah, so you can definitely negotiate with a free action and basically give them that site. So can't do that during an operation though. So just FYI, can't do that during. All right, we're going to go for this 4C site. Just need to roll anything but a 6. That's a 6. Do I need that site? No, as a matter of fact, I really don't need any of those sites, and claims don't count for anything, so whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and roll 1 or 2 for the 1V. That's a 1. That's a claim. 1 or 2 for the 1V. That's a 2. That's a claim. Roll pretty good. And now I guess I can re-roll again over there since I have the option to do so. It's no 6. Yep. No 6. Got the claim. So we claimed everything there. We moved, and then we're done. So now that we're done, we can go ahead and negotiate, and we're just going to give him this claim site here so they can build the factory there. All right, cool. All right, on to the next year. That'll be year number 29. And the players at the Homan, they need to get their they need to get their refinery so they can build that factory over there. So what they're going to do is they're going to burn 1 here, and that costs it 1. And then they're going to have to change to the other thruster to get down onto Vesta, and that's going to cost 7. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is enough to land there and be able to do a site refuel. All right, so as an operation, are they going to ET produce this Robonaut then and stick it on that outpost over there? The 1 mass. It's not a bad idea. It's got it, and it's a good thruster. I thought I was going to give this one over to the other player. The other player is running out of fuel. So they're going to need to actually wait. They're just going to need to wait at that site. So are we going to go? Yep, because we're going to meet them there. So I guess, yes, I guess I am going to ET produce this as the operation, and I'm going to stick that over here on the refinery. Okay. In their card stack here, they don't really have anything that they want to do, so they're just going to go ahead and they're going to just move over here and wait. And at this point, they're going to take some type of card. They don't really have anything great over here to speak of. They're going to need to get that H site And that H site is either the moon or this crazy one over here, which we may want to consider. Let's see. So if they come off here and they do a burn here and go here and wait, they can go through here, which is a hazard roll, unfortunately. That's not so cool. But if they did go through that hazard roll, they come all the way down to here, jump here, go here. Here. Oh my goodness. I guess here, here, here. It's not, this is not really conducive to that. The best way is to come out here. So maybe it's here, burn, burn, wait, burn, burn, wait, burn, 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 hazard roll to the H. Oof. Or is it just better to go back over here and go to the moon? Tough call. You know what, though? This gives an extra point if we do a colony here. And we also get a chit, because we have to start considering that as well, is those chits. And since maybe we're out there that far, maybe we ought to stop off at one of the Jupiter sites up there. We're going to get a C. We need an M. I'm sorry, we're not going to get a C. We're going to get an S. And we need an M. And there is an M that's fairly close. So the question is, what do we want to do? Do we want to go with the H here? It's a main belt comet. This is Comet Phaethon. And it gives the power stat, by the way. So power sat. It gives a power sat privilege if you go there. So that's kind of neat. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to figure it out. But anyway, the movement's been made. There's not been an operation yet. I suppose what we could do is, that's an S site. We don't really need anything right now. We just need to prospect and ultimately build one more factory. And I think we decided we were going to do H. So I guess we could just come back to Earth. Could come back to Earth and go to the moon. Is there a better path to go to the moon from out there? Coming from, like, say, for example, this way? Lagrange, nothing. Here's a stopping. Here's a Lagrange. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe here, and then go back and then go to the moon. Let's do that. That sounds fun. But for right now, of course, we're just going to wait. So we're going to hit that H site there. So I might as well take this H refinery so that I can ET produce it later on. All right. That's the end of that year. We're going to go to year number 30. Now we're going to spend change our thruster to the crew, which is an 11 minus 1 because of the transport, which is a 10. It's landing onto a, by the way, I'm here, so I can go here and then here for half a burn, and on here, that's going to cost me 7 steps of fuel. 14 divided by 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're on Vesta, and These two are on Vesta, and I can go ahead and add them to my stack, a refinery and a Robonaut, and I'm going to give the Robonaut to the other player once I get over there. But I can do this as a free action and remove the outpost. And now my rocket has 1, 4, 9, 10, 13 mass. So we're going to go ahead and change this up 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Is that right? Yeah. I guess we wind up in the same spot. That's really quite interesting. So our wet and dry mass are identical, and we're a tug. So that's quite something else, isn't it? But anyway, we're there. We moved on to that site, and now for our operation, we're going to go ahead and do a site refuel at the factory and get 7 aqua, and we're going to put them immediately into fuel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm at a dry mass of 22 right now. And guess what? I don't have a dry mass of 22. I've got a dry mass of 4, 9, 12, 13. So I'm going to move this thing back down to 13. And that is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. That's better. Now we have the correct dry mass. We're going to go ahead and do a site refuel for 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're a tug. And when we take off, we're going to have to go 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That'll give us the burn. That'll get us over there to that circle, and will get us onto that site. And then we can go ahead and do build a factory. We can do a factory refill at that point and get some more fuel. So we're going to be fine. All right. On to B612. They're going to just wait there because they're waiting for them. They have their factory. The refinery they're going to go ET produce later on down the road. They're just hanging out. This is going to be what? An S site? They could take this other refinery and do an ET produce at that point. 2 mass. Dividing new bots. -1 ISRU for co-located ISRU platform. The interesting thing about that is the Robonaut's already at 0 and you can't go to a minus ISRU rating. So that really doesn't make any difference for them. They need to basically get over to this H site. The one thing that it would, -1 to co-located roles. We're definitely going to need that for that. Oh no, we're going to go to the moon. We already decided we were going to go to the moon. That's right. We're going to hit the moon. So we're going to do some refills here and go to the moon. It would be nice, I guess, to get a lower mass. We don't need actually this co-located -1 anymore because we're going to automatically get that with that 9, 6 or lower. So maybe it would be better to take this and then ET produce it at their S factory, and then take this into the hand, and then basically just decommission this thing. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's smaller mass. It's gonna take one more turn, but that's okay. I think we have enough turns. We'll be fine. So yeah, let's take the refinery. Okay, you're number 31. The Glav cosmonauts. I keep on forgetting what their name is. Yeah, it is. It's Glav cosmonauts. Okay, I think I got it finally. The Glav cosmonauts, they're just gonna go with their thruster sitting at what is it, 11 minus 2? So it's actually at a 9, but they're on a 6 site, so they're fine. They have a half burn to get out of there, so that's 7 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're on top of their dry mass and their wet mass. So they have no fuel, and they're going to go flying past this burn that we just did onto the circle that has no magenta and onto the site right here. And they are going to negotiate and give the B612 Corporation this nice thruster. So they received their thruster, and they immediately put it into their stack. And what they're going to do is they're going to decommission this thruster on their turn. They can't do this right now. Free actions have to be done on your turn. So right now it's basically sitting in an outpost that's over there. Well, I'm not going to put this outpost out there because it's going to come right back anyway. So they just basically gave them that card, which was nice. Now they're going to use this refinery and this robot in order to build a factory on that site. So this is going to come back. I guess they didn't need the sites co-located for a double water droplet. At least not yet. But yeah, they don't have another refinery or Robonauts, so they're going to go ahead and decommission both of those, and they're going to build their S site out there on their claim that they were given. And that'll be their operation. So that'll take care of their turn. B612 was waiting around for that so that they could get some fuel, which is great. But first thing they're going to do before they do any of that is they're going to decommission their thruster, put it into their hand. They're going to take this and put this into their rocket stack. So now they've got a Robonaut that actually gives a thruster with a power sat, and a solar sail. And so quite interesting that we're out in series right now, and that is a -2 to the thrust. So this is actually going to be a 3, which should be okay. Is it okay? That site is a actually is a 4. And I'm at a 2 here. Did I need to use my crew card? I guess I did, but I didn't need to make a burn because I was sitting at that circle. So I just basically used my crew card to get down to that site. And I can also use it to get back up. And it's not going to cost any burn just to go to that circle. I just have to wait a turn. And I did wait a turn the last time. So that's not really going to be a problem. Even the afterburn's not really going to help me because that'll just get my thrust from 5 actually -1 right now, -2 for the solar. Yeah. So that's not really going to be great, but I'll just use my crew and just wait an extra turn. All right. So they're going to do, they decommissioned it for voluntary decommission cards. So that's what we did. We decommissioned our thruster, and actually the mass is going to decrease. So we can take a look at what the mass is now, so and adjust our rocket accordingly. So we have a 1 mass here, a 3 mass here for 4, a 3 mass here for 7, and a 1 mass here for 8. And we said we were at 9, so we're just going to go down by 1, and we're going to go down by 1. Okay, great. Nice thing about it is now we're at one stop per burn, which is really good. So we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 burns. And let's see what our thrust is at. We're at a 5. We have a 5, and we are at a -1, so that's 4. And then we have a solar at -2, so we're actually still at 2. However, we're next move we're gonna switch. So we may as well just go ahead and switch now to the crew, which is a 15. And the 15 is at -1 for the transport. And this is not a solar, so it's at 14. So it's got plenty of thrust to get off there. It just really can't go anywhere after that because we don't want to be using 10 stops of fuel every single time. So what they're going to do is they have a couple of options. Number one, they could ET produce this refinery on that factory and get a two mass refinery rather than the 3 mass refinery that they have that they really don't need. Because it's -1 to rig and rolls, and we're going to go on the moon anyway, so don't really need that. They also need fuel, most likely, to get where they're going to need to go, because they're going to get off of there, have 1 burn, wait a turn, wait another. We're going to go to the moon, and so we're going to land here, come that way, here, Lagrange, and then stop there. So they're getting to stop 1, they got to stop again, then they got to stop again, then they got to stop again, and then they can go all the way to the moon. So it's going to be quite a bit of turns until they get there, but they are going to get there, and it's not going to take that many burns, to be honest with you. So let's see how many burns it's actually going to take. They're going to come off with the crew. They're going to burn 1 there, then they're going to stop. Then they don't need to burn, and they're going to stop. Then they're going to burn and stop. So that's 2. Then they're going to go through the Lagrange, and then they're going to stop. And then they're going to go through a open circle, 2 Lagrange points, 3 Lagrange points, and then a lander burn. So actually, it's only 3 burns. They can make it all the way there without doing any factory refuel. So let's go ahead and ET produce that refinery. And that will immediately go into their rocket stack since they're there. And then they're going to go ahead and use a free operation. And you can do as many free, you can do the same operation twice. I read it too. You can do the same free operation twice in one turn at different times. And I'm like, when are you ever going to do that? Well, guess what? Just did. So we just decommissioned that because we decommissioned the thruster first. And now we decommissioned the refinery. And so now our mass is 1, 2, 5, 7. So we can move this down to 7, and we move this thing down here too. So we're getting a little bit lighter as well, and that's good. Okay. So we are we going to move now? I don't think we moved this turn. No, we did not. So we can actually take a move, and we're going to do that because we have our crew right here with a thrust of 14, and that's going to move us into this space right here where we don't have to burn. So that's really good. All right. That's the end of that year. So we're going to go to year number 32. And year 32 starts off with the Glav cosmonauts who need fuel. So they are going to absolutely do a site refuel on that factory site for 7, and they're going to fill up. But before we do that, since they built that factory, we need to adjust our mass. So our mass is now 6. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take both these things down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down from 13 to 7. And we're going to site refuel for 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're at 7 to 14. And now we can move. We did a site refuel. So we can move if we want to. The question is do we want to, or we don't really have any cards to ET produce. We have this thruster and we got the crew. We really need to go to an M site. And there's this M site here. Requires a whole bunch of, what is this? A horseshoe orbit. Horseshoe orbit. So there's a whole bunch of burns that have to occur there. But if we get over to that area, and it looks like we can come to that area from here through this Lagrange point here, which is a burn. And then we can come from here, which is a Lagrange. It's the same route to the moon, except you're making a turn here, and you're going towards there, and then coming down into here. I think that might be the way to go. And we already know that that's what 2 burns only. That's 1, 2 to get all the way there, and then here's a third burn, and then we got 4, 5, 6 burns, and then we can land on that M site there. Interesting. That is interesting. There is a 5M though, just right here. So maybe that's a better thing to do. Come many Robonauts do I have here? I got an ISRU of 3 and an ISRU of 0. And I'm going to go to the moon, so I don't need the 0. So I could give this to that person. Well, I could have before, when I was there before I moved. So last turn. So might as well do that. Just give them that Robonaut, and that way they have a Robonaut to be able to prospect. They are going to need a refinery as well. But they're going to need a refinery too, in order to prospect the moon. So, I guess this Robonaut is good for them because they do need that, the ISRU of 0 in order to go to that M site over there, which only has 1 droplet of water, but it's a 5. So they're probably going to be able to get that unless they roll a 6. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go. They need a refinery, though, in order to build. So I guess they could just leave the Robonaut out there, and they could decommission. They're not bringing back a chit. They could decommission their crew to LEO, and they could decommission the thruster, and then basically pick up this refinery and head on out to that site up there. So that's probably going to be what they do. All right, so now we're at the point where White is going to go ahead and move, try to get towards that M site. They've got plenty of fuel. They did the site refuel last time. So, or was it this turn? I don't remember if it was this turn or not. It might have been. So, I think it was. So we did the site refuel, and then now we're going to go ahead and move on over to that M site. The question is are we going to have enough? Well, we don't really. We're going to decommission that anyway, so it doesn't really matter in regards to how much fuel we're using. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so we're going to go from 14 down to 7, and that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 stops of fuel. That's plenty. Let's see what thruster we have. We got the 5, and we're at a -1. It's not a solar, so we're at 4, so we can do 4 burns. And we're going to try to get over to that M site over there. So here's 1 burn here. Here's this. And we might as well go ahead and make the pivot. So that's 3 burns. And we'll stop there. So we'll move this down by 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And they already did the site refuel, so they're done with their operation. Yellow goes next. And yellow only has a better thruster now. So they're going to go ahead and use that thruster here. And it's a solar, so it's -2. It's 5, -2, -1. So that's a 2. So it can only make 2 burns. But I don't think it's only going to do 1 burn anyway. 1 burn and then stop. Okay. Year number, what is this? 33. Year 33. And they are still on their way to the M site. So they're right here at the Homan. They're right here at this Homan. So here's a Homan, and they need to make a pivot in order to go to that M site. So they're going to make a pivot, and they got themselves a hazard right there, which is rapid spin. So this asteroid named Psyche, that apparently is spinning very fast. And so if we roll a 1, because I don't have failure is not an option yet. If I roll a 1, then this thing blows up. Oh my gosh. I did it. I rolled a 1. It blew up. Everything blew up on the rocket, including the crew. Poor guys. All right, so a new crew comes in and goes to Leo, and the Robonaut, unfortunately, goes back into the hand and loses its ET production, and now I'm all here, and this rocket is gone. In the rapid spin, it was lost. Wow. That's unexpected. That was pretty bad. If I just had one more, I could have done it, but coming back out, oh my goodness. Wow. That was pretty bad. Okay. Fun. So that's space for you. We were doing fine, and then we just blew up. So that's not good. All right. So as an operation, let's see here. So as an operation, this Robonaut here is the one that is a buggy, and I really don't think I need that buggy. Since I'm here, the question is now, do I go to this M site here, which is in the Mars zone, and it's not great. Here's this M site here, and that one's in the Earth zone, but the other person's already going to get a chit for that anyway. So that's not really going to help. There's only S and V inside of here, and there's all one C inside the Venus. And that's not great. So there's nothing good there. Already took the Ceres chit. Really need to get a Jupiter chit and get an M. There's no M. Is there any M in Jupiter at all? Yes, there is. Way out there. Way out there. What planet is that? Is that Io? It is Io. It's got 9M. I don't know if I want to go all the way out to Io. That is way out there. That takes a lot of energy to get out there. Holy cow. Could do a Jupiter flyby and go, though, I suppose. Doesn't look like it's such a great plan, though, to go way out there to that M site. Probably this one's going to be better, but it only has 1 droplet. So that means that I'm going to have an ISRU value of 1 or less. So what operation am I going to do? Factory produce on their factory and then go what? I need a one ISRU, and that's a 2 ISRU Robonaut. So that's not going to work. This Robonaut can be changed from a 2 to a 1 at the C site, and it can roll twice for a 1. Boy, 1's just so hard to get. That's why I like that 5 out there. I think I might have to go back out there to that 5. That one also has a 1. So I can stop along the way at the C site, I guess. The other Robonaut can go down, and that one's also a C. So either one's a C. This one though is a D, and this one can go down from a 2 to a 0 with 5 mass. That's interesting. It's a lot of mass though, but it is a 0, and that would do for that. And the D site's easier, I suppose. That blue line does not connect there. So once again, I got to come back and then go out. The C site is maybe is also not great in order to get out there either. So either way, it's not really good. I suppose I'm going to keep one of these Robonauts and ditch the other. This one goes from a 2 to a 1. Yeah, and gives me 2 chances, and I'm going to try for this. Yep, that's what it sounds like. So I'm going to go ahead and sell this one for 3 aqua for my operation. And that'll do it for the white player. And for the yellow player, they're going to continue their journey towards the moon. They're going to go here and stop at this crossing, or are they going to pay 2 fuel? They have what? 1 more burn, 2 burns, and they're using a 1. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they have 2. Oh, they can't because they have to go here, and that only costs them another burn. And their thrust is only at, let's see, 5. Yeah, minus 2 is 3. Minus 1 for the weight as a transport. They're still only at 2. So yeah, they can't do that. They can't move here and pivot and burn at the same time. So, because then they would go land here on a burn space, and they can't afford that. They don't have enough thrust. Okay, so they waited. So they're going to be waiting, and so we're going to advance the year, and we're going to call it for this part, and that should do it. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we're definitely making some headway. So we'll see what happens next time, and really appreciate you watching. Hope you're enjoying this as well.